Good day, students. On this clip, we're going to be going over a method of factoring known as the asterisk factoring method. Okay, so just a warning: this is not a math by any means. It's just some tricks that are meant for entertainment. If you're a student of mine and you use this method to factor, for me, I'll give you a 0 because it doesn't show me that you understand any mathematics. But it works perfectly though, so I just wanted to show you this method just for your entertainment, okay? So this is known as the asterisk factoring method. So let's try out two examples. I'm not going to do too much so you don't get used to this method, all right? So the instructions are as follows. Factor the following quadratic expressions, the following quadratic expressions using the asterisk method. Asterisk Okay. All right. So the first problem we're going to try is 3x squared plus 2x minus 8. Okay. So if I want to factor this using the asterisk factor method, first thing I'll do is draw my asterisk. Okay. So when you draw your asterisk, the way that you put the numbers in really matter, okay? Or else you're just gonna set up yourself for failure. So you got to be really careful with how you populate the components of this asterisk, okay? So note a times c goes on the top, b goes on the bottom, and then a goes on the upper left and the upper right. Okay? So if you take a look at this quadratic expression that I have, this is a, this is b, and that's c. So AC goes on the top, 3 times negative 8, which is negative 24. And B goes on the bottom, which is 2. And then what is AA is 3, so put a 3 here and put a 3 here. Alright? Now, just like the X game, we're going to find two numbers that add to give you 2 and multiply to give you negative 24. And then we're going to put them in these two spots right here, okay? So to help me generate a list of possibilities, I'm going to make a factor table and list the factors that I can use. All right, so let me make a factor table here. I want to list all the numbers that multiply to give me 24. So what I'm looking for is negative 24. So let's just focus on 24. All right, so 1 times 24 gives me 24. This combination gives me 23 or 25. I want 2, so that's no good. 2 times 12 gives me 24. This combination, if I add it, I get 14. If I subtract it, I get 10. No good. 3 times 8 gives me 24. If I add it, I get 11. If I subtract, I get 5. No good. 4 times 6 gives me 24 also. 4 plus 6 is 10. 4 minus 6. Oh, that works. So this is the combination that we're going to use to generate to populate the last missing elements uh, spots in our asterisk, okay? So notice that these are all the factors. All right, so I'm going to take 4. I'm going to put 4 here. And I'm going to put a 6 here. But let's resolve the sign though. If I'm adding the numbers to get a positive number and I multiply to get a negative, that means that the smaller number has to be negative. Okay, because minus 4 plus 6 is 2, minus 4 times 6 is 24. Excellent. So now that we have this, all we're going to focus our attention on is this number, this one right here, and this one right here. Okay? You reduce where possible. If it's not possible, then you don't reduce. Okay, so those two I'm going to try and reduce where possible. Okay, so can I reduce this? These two are co-prime, so I just take them as they are. I'm going to put a 3 and then a negative 4, and I'm going to put an x on the top one. Okay, and then we're going to be reading downwards like this. So this one, can it be reduced? Absolutely, right? They have a common factor of 3. So I divide top and bottom by 3, divide that by 3, divide that by 3. So the reduced form becomes 1 over 2. For the x here, I'm going to read it downwards. All right, so your final answer is going to be See this arrow means you're gonna write 3x minus 4 for this one, and then for this one times 1x, you can just write it as x plus 2, and there goes your factored form. Okay? So this method conceals a lot of mathematical processes that demonstrates that you understand the factoring algorithm. That's why it's not an acceptable method. If you do this, this is just a cool trick just to simplify the whole process. All right, so there goes the factored form. All right, let me show you another example using this factoring trick. Remember, this is just for your entertainment. I don't advise you to use this as a go-to method for factoring. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do 2x squared plus 19x plus 24. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my asterisk. Asterisk, I don't even know how to say it. Anyway, so you make your asterisk like that, and then like that. Yeah. Okay. So let's start to populate the asterisk, but we gotta be careful to make sure we do it correctly. AC goes on the top, B goes on the bottom, and you have an A here, and then they also have an A here. Okay. So in this problem, A is 2, B is 19, and C is 24. So AC is 2 times 24, which is 48, and B is 19. A is 2, so put it here, and then A is 2, put it here. Now I'm going to play that trick game again where you find two numbers that multiply to give you 48 and add to give you 19. Okay, so what works? Uh, just to make it easier to do, I'll make my factor tree again and then see the numbers that multiply to give me 48. Okay, so we're going to start from the smallest factor, which is 1. 1 times 48 gives me 48. This combination, if I add them, I get 49. If I subtract, I get 47. No good, I need 19. 2 times 24 gives me 48. If I add these two, I get 26. Subtract, get 22. No good. Moving along, 3 times what? 3 times 16. If I subtract these two, I get 13. If I add it, I get, bam, 19. This is the pair that works. This pair works. Okay? Alright, let's make sure that this is perfect. Okay, so I'm going to put them in here. 3 and then a 16. 3 plus 16, 19. 3 times 16, 48. Perfect. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus my energy on this side right here, and this term numbers right here. And I'll try